So it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the second part. I'm speaking really just as the chair of the trustees and on behalf really of everybody who's a partner in the church. And of course it's both a sad day and a great day. And all of us will have mixed feelings as we celebrate the long ministry of John and Margaret. Now, I'm not going to do a speech, but I will just say a couple of things really, because John talked particularly about service and that side of things, but actually we need to remember in the long run what they've done to lay the foundations for the future. And although John made just a short comment really about the building, you know, we need to recognise that if that had not been dealt with, other people would have to have dealt with it later. And John gave me a couple of old pictures of the old church a couple of days ago that he'd found, and it really struck me, you know, what a long way we've come from that situation, how blessed we are. You know, the building is just a building, but it provides opportunities, and it provides opportunities for years to come. And few people will really know how much work went into that. So I was really struck by that. I think also, you know, just to put in perspective as well, they really ushered in a new era of the Holy Spirit in this church. And probably few people would remember what it was like before. But again, you know, they've created an atmosphere of welcome, people who come here wanting to meet with the Holy Spirit. And that is not the case in a lot of the churches of the country. And again, that's something which has laid foundations for the future. And these are really big ticket items. And the third thing that I was thinking about really as we listened, we've talked a lot about John, a lot about Margaret, but John and Margaret together. And one thing that's not been mentioned so far is their example of being a married couple, a couple joined together in Christ, living their lives together in Christ. And what an example that is to all of us. And I know preachers love to make comments about their other halves, don't they? And I noticed Margaret stuck her hand up when the word stubborn was mentioned. I wasn't sure she meant that she was stubborn or he was stubborn, but we can probably have a guess on that one later on. But, you know, the two of them individually, but also together. And hopefully as we go through the presentations, you'll get a real sense of how we're trying to celebrate them as individuals, but as a couple. So that's enough from me. We are carrying on with the Brewster's Desert Island Discs is how we've done the music. These are their choices, and so we're going to have 3 songs, personal favourites for them. Let's really join in and really celebrate both them and the Lord. Thank you.
You are here. never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Spirits break up,
a song of deliverance from my enemies to all my fears above. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
You split the sea. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child. Oh, I am a child of God.
Wasn't that good? Did you all imagine John and Margaret on their desert island singing those? You didn't? No. Can you imagine them sitting on the beach, looking out into the horizon, singing their favourite songs, hoping nobody's going to rescue them? All that stuff. All right, so we're going to have a great time now. and we've got some presentations. We've got a few words. At the end, we'll open it up to a few more words. John and Margaret, if you'd like to come and sit in the seats of honour. It looks like you're about to renew your wedding vows. We could do that as well. We've got a few ministers who might oblige later on. So, did you want to say that again into the mic?
Like you trade your car in for a new model, don't you? Yeah.
Dangerous. He'll pay for that later, perhaps. Right, well, to start with, I'm going to call on one of the people who's journeyed with John and Margaret over the years in the life of the well. Somebody who's dear to their hearts and ours, Brenda.
Because I haven't got enough hands. Oh, all right. John and Margaret, it's my pleasure and privilege to present these lovely flowers to you, to thank you for all the good you've done for the church and the community over all these years. You've done such faithful service, and we are very grateful indeed. We thank you for all that you've done. And through the good times and the not so good, the thick and the thin, as has been already said this morning. And I want to add my own personal thanks to you for all the love, care and support that you've given to me in the last few difficult years. I'm very grateful, and I thank you very much. We all pray that you'll have a long, happy and healthy retirement as you work together to fulfill all the promises and purposes and plans that God has for you in the future, wherever you go, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We're so blessed. We've been so blessed. And I want to say that, I've forgotten what I wanted to say. This is important. We love you very much, and we're so thankful that you're not leaving us. So, to God be the glory, and God bless you both.
Well, that was a good start, wasn't it? Now, as a special treat, we've got a few words from some people who are very, very close to John and Margaret. Very close indeed. In fact, close family. So, Simon, would you like to come up and say a few things about the old folks? You want that microphone?
You pop it in there. I really wasn't prepared for how powerful the whole day was going to be. And Brenda's just absolutely killed me with that. Okay. I really wasn't prepared, was I? My dad's the pro. So it's really great to see so many people who appreciate my mum and dad, and it's really quite humbling to hear it, because growing up, I've always seen, well, my dad was always my superhero, and my mum was always my rock, and that's kind of like how I've seen it, and to hear today that like so many other people probably feel that as well, I think is a testament to both of them, and it makes me very proud. And now a little bit of I don't know if it's an apology or a confession, but it was really hard to try and find something to say today without it sounding like an obituary. So, with that in mind, I tried to steer clear of listing event dates and achievements, and instead, I thought I would focus on a question that people always asked me when I was growing up. And that was, what's it like having a vicar for a dad? And then years later when Mum joined, and your mum works there too. And it never really bothered me because it was normal. They were my mum and dad. If anything, I just found it strange how people would think that we would be any different than any other family. Because that's what we were. A mum in charge, a dad. A dad and two boys trying their best to do as they're told. And a couple of months before my own son was born, I was reading all the parenting books and that, and something stood out to me, and it stands out to me now, and it said, it takes a village to raise a child. You can't do it on your own. And for me, growing up, that village was this church. A church is a place people come to feel comfort, to feel safe, and to feel loved. And I really can't think of a better environment that I could have grown up in. And for that reason, the words church, home, and family will always be linked together in my heart. And whenever I hear them, I always feel a great warmth. And that's because of you too. So in answer to the question, I was always grateful that I had ministers for parents. I was grateful that I had you for parents. And your time as leaders of this church may be at an end, but the countless of people you've supported, pastored, and loved will never forget the work you have done for them and for everybody who's been involved. And as I stand here now, maybe not as often as I should do, but that again is a testament to you two as parents, because you spoke yourself, Dad, earlier about wanting the congregation to give you the chance to make your mistakes. And you two have certainly allowed me to make many, many, many mistakes. You've always had the faith that I would come back and we'd be together. Do you know what I mean? We'd always do right by each other. And as I say, I stand here and I can still see the balcony. I can see the pews. I can see the vestry to the right-hand side of me. And I also can remember my mum and dad, who had a vision to not only run a church, but to grow a church. To build not just the building, as we've touched on, but to build relationships all across the world. I can always remember growing up, that was one of Dad's biggest, I'd say, passions. You love other cultures, you love the world, and it was important to you that your church was a part of that. And I really feel that, I think it was Stuart that said about honouring the past, and I really do think that the foundations that were laid for you by every other minister in those pictures, like Stuart said, you've grown on those foundations, and what you leave for everybody else who follows you is a well. And a well that can be drawn from for many years by many others. And that is your biggest success. And lastly, I'd just like to say that few people get to live their life and affect so many other people in the way that you have. And few people get to do it hand in hand with their soulmate. And you are the best couple, the best example, and the best parents.
Okay, well, that's getting pretty emotional. We might need some more tissues by the end. I hope you've got lots supplied somewhere, Jean. You're near the front. I might need to get you in emergency. Right, well, having started very, very close to home, we're now going slightly further into Retford. And so we've got David Bean, who's going to come and bring a word from Churches Together in Retford. And John and Margaret have been very prominent, as we've heard, in the spiritual leadership of the town and the district for a long time. So it's great to have a word from David to mark this. So David Bean.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you this morning. I've come a bit late to the party, I'm afraid. I've been working somewhere else, but it's lovely to be with you on this very special occasion. I bring with me greetings on behalf of Churches Together in Retford. We've got a card and we've taken a small collection for you. And the envelope says, John and Margaret, to be spent on cinema, theatre trips, meals out, or I guess anything else that retirement should have to offer. So that is to you two. I'll give it to Margaret, with our loves and with our thanks. Do you know, I've been here many, many years. Before I was a minister, I'm Retford very nearly born and bred. And over all of those years, I know what a difference you two have made to this place. What's been a huge inspiration to many of us personally is your commitment not to grow just this church, this place, but to grow the church, to grow the kingdom in this place. God bless both of you for your efforts through Churches Together, through Street Pastors, through so many things where you have made such a tremendous difference. So on behalf of the churches, on behalf of all the Christians who have been in this place, have been in this town, in this area, who have been impacted by your ministry, thank you. And on a personal level, can I just say a personal thanks for all of the support and all the encouragement and all of the inspiration that you have both provided for me personally and for so many people. God bless you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to have an accident with that before the end. Right, thank you very much, David. So now comes to the fun bit. Now, I'm going to ask members of the Well, what is John's favourite service of the year? Anybody know? Anna? Couldn't hear. Christmas. Which bit of Christmas does he like the most? The toy service, doesn't he? So we thought we'd try and get a little bit of the flavour of that, because when the history books are written about John and Margaret's ministry at the Well, probably that's not going to be mentioned. But we all know how much he loved it, and you could see his face when he got a toy that he really quite liked, couldn't you? So we're going to bring in some of our loved folk as part of this. And we've got a range of presentations for you. Some are small, some are big, some are amusing, some hopefully will make you feel happy. We will find out. But we've got a different range of people who are going to bring you a group of different things. And they'll give you a few little words when they do so. But bear in mind, the first thing you open may be a clue, not the actual gift. So we shall see. So we're going to start with two pillars of the church. Who else but Tom and Jean?
Going down. Well, Tom's given me strict instructions. I have to be short because we could be here for a whole day. Sorry?
You've got to let him out.
Oh, he's coming here. Come here. Well, as we've been thinking back, it's hard to believe that it's just over 33 years since Tom came in one night from a deacon's meeting and said, I've got an important phone call to make. I need to talk to somebody who's applied to come as a minister. And that was my clue to run upstairs, because in those days, wives weren't involved in any of the leadership. And I got halfway upstairs when I heard Tom saying, hello. And I thought, he knows the person at the other end of the line. So I came running down again because curiosity got the best. And it was Margaret, who we'd known through Eaton Hall. And that was over 33 and a half years ago. And then they came up with for a weekend and stayed with us and came to preach with a view. And while Margaret was having her 3rd, 4th and 5th cup of tea, John and Tom left to be here early so as they were all organised. And as we came down West Car Road, we saw these 2 men with an abandoned car as John had hit the curb and got a puncture. So that was the start 33 years ago of him arriving covered in oil and everything else and in a mad panic. And I can tell you at lunchtime he was going home. He wasn't staying here. But we did convince him, so he stayed, and the outcome was he joined us 33 years ago. And so much has happened. I'm not going down that line because so much has happened in that 33 years, leading us on from being a traditional Baptist church in an old building that was falling down to being an evangelical, spirit-filled church in this lovely gift from God. But I just wanted to, we both want to thank you for your friendship. That's meant so much to us over the years. For your fellowship. It's been so good to just have time together and chat and share. For your teaching, I have to say LTS was the best thing that ever spoke into my life, and you two know the difference it made. For mentoring me and just being there, for releasing me from just prayer ministry and praying and asking God to release me from fears like Birmingham and other things. And just for the restoration that you've brought, and for me personally, just to walk the journey, for allowing me to be me and not my father's daughter or many other things that I felt I had to be. And so from the very first Sunday you came here, I just felt God say that Tom and I were to be like Aaron and Hur, and we were to be there to support you and to back you up and to work with you, and at times when things got tough, and they have done sometimes, to be there to hold your hands up and just to be at the end of the phone if you needed. And over those 33 years, our prayer is that we've done what God asked us to do. But today, you're leaving your role. And so we're relinquishing that. And we're just saying to you, in future, you don't need your hands lifting up. I bet there was a... You don't need... It's fatal to have Tom behind me. I never know what he's up to. But you don't need your hands holding up in the future or your support. You can just get relaxed and rest. And this morning, I just felt... God say to me, Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. So we have got a present to give you, which you need to open and see what you find.
I think it'd be fair to say this is probably a bit more John than Margaret,
yes,
this present, wouldn't we say?
Is, yes.
Although it might bring benefits for Margaret. And the first thing you'll find is a clue. We're having trouble with that, aren't we?
My grandson, who's here, who was born on our 40th wedding anniversary, Charlie, said he thought he was coming to a birthday party. I think you're prophetic, Charlie, because we've got loads of presents. Oh, thanks to the worship team. What a great job they've done today, eh?
It's a good job this is opening a presents into urgent, isn't it?
They're not very quick at opening presents, are they, Tom? I think we might have to put lunch back at this rate.
And last.
Now, that's your clue, so you've got to look at that first. Yes, that's the clue. Well, open it up.
Today would be good.
We're retired now, we don't care.
Now you've got that, you can think about what might be in the envelope in the box, which Tom's forgotten to give you.
Which they've discarded.
And for those who can't see, he's got a little fisherman to put in the garden with a little fish. Very spiritual, you know.
We know when you go fishing, John, that every fisherman's tale is, you know, they always come back and say, I did catch one, it was that big and it got away. Well, just in case you don't ever catch anything when you go out fishing, apart from a cold, here's something that you can bring back with you to Margaret to prove that you did catch something.
Thank you. Stand up and look like a proud fisherman. And when you get old and your eyesight starts to fail, don't accidentally cook them for your tea, will you? Well, in retirement, Margaret, I think you could teach him to cook. Okay, right. Well, that's just the starter. So well done for Tom and Jean. And now we've got some other marvellous pillars of the church. Will you put your hands together and welcome Rod and Carol?
Hello. This is my turn to get back at him now. Last week, it was our 50th wedding anniversary yesterday, and last Sunday they made us a presentation of flowers and things. I was outside in the porch, and I didn't hear John's introduction to it. But I played it back during the week, and I'd have listened to what he'd said about me. Yeah. One of the things that he said on there was that we met up, when he arrived here, we met up at Frank Feely's house down in Barby Moor there, with the deacons. There were 7 deacons and 3 elders. And John was in the corner, and he was subjected to this inquisition by these 10 fellas. Well, I'll have you know that 10 fellas are no match for one from Barnsley. He wrapped his little finger around his little finger that night, told us what he was going to do here, and he did it. And in fairness to him, he's pretty much done what he said he was going to do, actually. I think Tom will correct me on this one, but I think we went to the East Midland Baptist Association for a list of people to interview, and they were sending us these lists, and I think they got a few lists, but the first list we got, and I think it was the first name because it begins with B on the list, was Brewster. So it was the first name on the first list was the bloke that God had sent for us. And, yeah, here he is. So, yeah.
I bet you wish
Well, one of the things that we had here when John was being set up was when we were planning on, Eric was retiring and we were going to apply and, get a new minister here. We did a survey of the church members, and this letter was sent to Eddie Pilling, the Reverend Eddie Pilling, who was the Baptist superintendent, I think, wasn't he, at the time? And we sent this list of things we sent this recommendation of what we were looking for, and I found it somewhere in the depths of my computer. From the results of this questionnaire, the members of our church wish to maintain a sound Bible-based ministry. However, we are a mixed group of worshippers and would seek to keep a balance between traditional worship and free expression. I think we've just about done that. That's for 30 odd years. That's gone on, something like that. From the present feeling of the members, we favour a married male. How dare we say such things? We get strung out for this these days. Aged between 31 and 40. You just scraped in there, didn't you? Yeah. Who has not been divorced.
To my knowledge.
A man preferably with pastoral experience. It's ever so faint, is this? However, we are open to the Lord's leading. We are looking for a man of vision under whose guidance the church would continue to grow in the effective witness within the community and the church and the local community. Yes. We enclosed a statistical profile of the church members. Oh, and a copy of the basis of faith. Yours, the elders and deacons. What a letter to send out. I don't know how we got away with it, but yeah, I think you just about fulfilled most of it, didn't you, John? Yeah, you've had your moments, but anyway, there we go. Are you still here, love? Yes, all right.
She's behind you.
She's behind me.
Rod was saying we've been married 50 years yesterday, celebration. And we've been here in the fellowship for all those 50 years. And we've been so thankful. We've seen many changes, radical changes. And the one I want to highlight is your introduction of soaking in the presence of God and how much I've appreciated that over the years. And again, I thank you for your friendship and for your encouragement and for your support.
Thank you.
Listen to the interesting bit. As Adrian has said for the previous one, the clues are in not necessarily the bit you see, but that's a clue to what's... I believe this one's more aimed at John. Well, if he's going fishing, what else, What are you going to do?
It's to wash me when I come back from fishing.
Now, these are 2-day tickets to Nottinghamshire's luxury day spa, Eden Hall. They're 2 separate tickets, aren't they, Rod?
Yes, and it was sort of suggested that possibly rather than 2 people for 1 day, it could be 1 person for 2 days. Yeah. How about that, Margaret? While he's fishing, you can be out having a...
And it includes a 3-course lunch. And just in case you need something to make you feel at home, the lunch is taken in a former Baptist chapel. And you can't say that very, very often. It may even be a baptistry underneath your table. You'll have to find out when you get there. But it's a very special place. And can we have a round of applause for Retford's golden couple?
We'll still see you. You're at the end of the road.
50 years gone, 50 years to go.
You and my wallet with the moths coming out, I don't know. You've never seen me open my wallet anyway, so...
I guess I've never seen the moths either.
But on a serious note, John, thanks. You've been a pastor and a friend.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Rod and Carol. Now, just to keep a certain air of things keeping forward, we next have a special presentation from Lynn and Adam. Oh, hang on, I've forgotten to clean the microphone. I'll get told off. Oh, Jean's watching. Probably Angela as well.
Yes, so we've been asked to thank you on behalf of the worship team and the trustees. Obviously, I'll do worship, Adam will do trustees. I just want to say what an adventure we have had in worship. It has been so exciting. We've been all as a team reminiscing about the different things we've done over the years. If you remember when you first came, there was a piano organ and a full-time, a choir, and we now have 2 brilliant full teams and a 3rd on the way practically. So, thank you. I just wanted to speak a little bit about our journey that we've been on as well in worship. And as I say, this has come from the whole team. So we had Jeremy and Connie Sinnott coming over. So right in the middle of revival in Toronto, John and Margaret, let's get them back to Retford, the worship leaders. They can come alongside our worship team and work with them. What a privilege that was. Such lovely, lovely people. Do you remember the town hall meetings we all had? Oh, wild every night. There we were. Absolutely fantastic. We've had, and I just must say, do you remember Jeremy's song that he brought? Lost in the shuffle, I was lost as a goose. The devil had a rope out and it looked like a noose. It's,
singing in tongues.
I think he was, and I think how I would interpret it was that, they're from a different culture, but the Holy Spirit, wow. And when we partnered with them, it was amazing. We've had fantastic teaching from Chris Bowater. We've had Howard over from Lincoln. What a privilege that was to have him on our core team. Steve Tebb. Ryan and Betty Kondo from IHOP. Gosh, he was cool, wasn't he, with his hair? Amazing.
I modelled my hairstyle.
I thought so, yes, exactly. Partners in Harvest, some of us have done that as well. We've been on God TV, apparently I wasn't on it, but some of the band have said in the early days there was God TV. And who can forget the BBC broadcast? we were all invited. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll play. We'll play. You've got to be ready to go at 7:30 in the morning. Oh, great. That's marvellous. But one of the really important things I want to say is you've never raised up that team. You've always said this half of the worship team is as important as that half of the worship team. And that has created a real culture and a sense of worship in this place. Thank you for your adventures and pushing forward. And I just must mention in the call of the day, there we were, locked down. You will not go on. You will stand back. No, Margaret come up with an idea. We're going to write original music. We're going to put words and pictures to it. It's going to be streamed. And we reached out even during lockdown. Awesome job. I'll hand over to my lovely husband, Adam.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Look at him looking all professional with his notes. He's going to say something really good here, but no. This is just a list from Lynn of what I must and must not say. Number 1, and I quote, do be nice to John and Margaret. Number 2, don't pick on John. Number 3, and most importantly, don't embarrass yourself or the family. Can't guarantee any of those are going to happen. First of all, I'd just like to thank you both for all you've done. On behalf of the trustees, I'd just like to thank you. I think we'd all agree that we just would not be where we are today without John and Margaret. Thank you for both being yourselves. We love you and we will miss your leadership. Now, like Lynn said, I'd like to say about the fun times we have in trustees. But they're boring. It's really boring, so I've struggled. There's one thing these guys have told me over the years, don't lie. It's pretty boring. So on another subject, we're going to talk about Barnsley Football Club. 33 years we've had to sit and listen about Barnsley Football Club. Seriously, if we'd not nodded off in one of his sermons, we'd nodded off by the time he'd finished talking about Barnsley Football Club. Now, John, do you want to just remind us where Barnsley are in the league at the moment?
The top of the first division, because the bottom of the championship.
I said we're not allowed to lie, John. They're last, aren't they? Absolutely plumb last. So to acknowledge your passion for Barnsley, note it's your passion, nobody else's passion. This is your passion. We'd like to just present this gift to you.
You can tell it's from Barnsley because it's extra special sealed.
I'm expecting an explosion.
Well, I've not looked in here, so I hope they've sent what we asked for. There should be 3 separate items in there, John, so don't chuck your rubbish away. It's even got his picture on it. Have we got a doctor in the house? we'll deal with that later. So thank you, Lynn and Adam. And of course, that's one of the games. You know the game where you play preacher bingo, where you have the preacher's favourite terms and references and sometimes their favourite jokes on a list. And you play bingo to see who gets theirs first. Well, Barnsley was always a good one to have, wasn't it? Because it usually got a mention. Right, well, next we have another star and talent of the church, none less than Charity.
Thank you so much for the
I've forgotten
opportunity.
to do the microphone again. Oh dear. Come on, Jean, remind me.
Thank you so much for the opportunity given me to present this. Well, I would keep that aside. John and Margaret, from where I come from, it's difficult to call you a minister by their names. And I always find it difficult to say John and Margaret. They are our fathers in the house. They are our spiritual fathers. We came into Retford in '97, and we came to church the first service. And we loved it. We felt at home. And we never turned back. And if John was bad, we would have left the church. But in our stay here in Retford, we have learned a lot. Thank you, John, for all the teachings. Not just teachings, there are conferences, not just about the Bible, but on other things as well. I remember there was one seminar you organized about financing, and that people from town came, and I learned a lot from that. Thank you so much. And I know here in the church we've had all sorts. You've trained us, and anybody who attends this church, in the last day, you will have no excuse not to go to the kingdom of God, because John has brought in a lot. We've been trained, and you have set us there to go in the field to fish for men. You've done all that. And even Sozo as well, to search the heart, what is in there. Some of the things we don't know, but God pulled them out to make us who we are. And that is who I am today. Thank you so much, John. As a family, my husband would have been here. A lot of you know, some of you don't know. My husband had a horrible accident that even the doctors told us that 48 hours will be critical, but I stood there. It's because of the teachings from here that I held on to the God we have. You don't give up until when God says no. And God has helped us through. And we're still pulling through. We've gone through challenges, but I'm still standing, all because of the teachings from this house. And one thing that struck me is that when he had the accident, in one of the operations he had it 6 hours. Another one was 5 hours and a half. And Joel called in everybody to come to church to pray. And that sustained him. And I believe it's all the prayers. Everyone has been praying for the family that we're still standing. And everywhere, prayers. When you call for prayer meeting, you don't find a lot of people. But that is the foundation of believers. And I'm encouraging everyone, take your prayer life seriously, because that is the strength, where we can derive our strength. Prayers can be a bank. We can store them for the rainy day when something happens. So that is what has been keeping us as a family. And that is what has been sustaining my husband. And I want to thank you, John and Margaret. You have shown us what it means to be coupled. Even in the bad times, in the good times, we see it in you too. And sometimes we look at the minister, we say, thank you for working. Sometimes we forget what the woman too, she's going through. because all that is thrown at John, he goes home, and when he's sobbing, who will be there for him is Margaret. And Margaret, I want to say thank you so much for giving John the shoulder to cry and to be that child that he wants to be at that time. And thank you for holding it in there and supporting him. All these 33 years, if not for your support, he wouldn't go through these 33 years. You would have been a knife, not a wife. So many ministers, they go through a lot. But if they have a home with a wife who is supportive and prayerful, that is what will keep him going. And thank you, John, for even when Margaret maybe says certain things, because you are the man, and sometimes the man in us and the ego, why would she say that? And thank you, even in the midst of that, you have held her in there to be your mate that you have walked with, and to have shown us what it means to have a good relationship and a marriage, and even in ministry 33 years. Thank you so much. I honor you too for that, and I thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, and I pray that God will bless you, that even as you go, that even in your retirement, you are not retiring as we've said, that it is going to be new adventure. It might be exciting, but I pray that God will take you through that journey. And I pray that you will not make any mistake. And I pray that you will be strengthened. And for Simon, thank you so much for being a son to our father, John. And thank you so much that you have lived a life that he was able to accomplish this. Because if you were troublemakers, you have made his life a hell. He wouldn't be able to achieve all this. And thank you so much for sharing your dad with us as a congregation. Thank you so much. God bless you all. And I want to add one thing. I remember one of the fathering Sundays, I was sad and I felt, oh, my dad is late. I wish my dad was alive. And I clearly heard a voice. Yes, your dad is not no more here, but you've got a dad. And I went, I've got a dad. And then, yeah, I've got a dad. And I sat quietly. And then I said, I've got a spiritual dad. And who is my spiritual dad? Is John. Because he is the one feeding me spiritually. And when you feed me spiritually, I live a life just like my earthly dad would have taught me things. And I will say, thank you so much. And in Africa, you don't stand and say thank you to your elders. And I will honor you the African way. Thank you so much for all you've done. And finally, what I have got there, thank you for, you've been there for the ladies, or we've had weekend retreats and everything. And thank you so much. It has been a ride and a good time. A lot of ladies enjoyed. It started with Oasis, and then we had Diamond. I remembered one of the meetings and the prayers we had in your summer house. And it's such a beautiful place. And I pray that in your retirement, you sit and relax, wind down, and just enjoy it. So we've got something small for you. When you are sat there, you will be remembering us that, yes, this is how we have come. Thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Charity. Now, there's 2 mugs there, Margaret. They could be 2 cups for one person or 1 cup for 2 people. but note that they are in Barnsley colours. Well, anyway, so from that to we've got the very august couple of Richard and Yvonne.
I think I'm going to have to take this out, I think, yeah. So.
You've only got a couple of minutes, Richard, so don't get any big ideas.
And I was thinking and listening to all the comments, John, that have been made, and I think Yvonne and I would like to very much echo them. And thank you for your friendship and your support. I was thinking we moved up from Hampshire in 1996, and I went to Mattersey Hall. And I knew God had called me out of the law to train for the ministry, but I didn't know what the future held at all after the 3 years at Mattersey. And we came here, I think, in my second year. And both of us, we said, we've come home. It was in the old building. And we were just there one morning, and we looked at each other and we said, yeah, we've come home. This is our spiritual home. And you kindly took me on as a student minister. And in so many respects, we're different, aren't we? I never thought necessarily that I'd be working with a Yorkshireman, having come from the south. And you probably thought, working with a southerner. But there we are. God's got a sense of humour. But there were 4 years when I was just working at Book Aid, helping out at Book Aid and seeking the Lord for the future. And then we've heard about the building project and the mandate to build this building. And I came on staff, 19 years ago, probably 18, 19 years ago. And yeah, it's been an adventure. It's been an adventure. Good times and bad times. But I want to thank you, Yvonne and I want to thank you. I've often said to you, you may not remember this, but you've actually put in me your spiritual DNA. Although we are different in so many ways, you have helped form me. Baptists talk about ministerial formation. And I praise God that I'm not the minister now that I was many years ago. I've matured, yes, I've developed. But look, John and Margaret, you have put so much into me. I'm carrying, in so many ways, your spiritual DNA. And I want to thank you. Thank you for your friendship and support. Bless you. Now, we've got 2 gifts for you. That's the first one.
This is joint, this one, isn't it?
They're joint.
If they want, they could go their own way.
We'll have to see. Have a look at it, first of all. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Absolutely, yeah. I shall never forget that day that I went to watch Barnsley with you, John. I've not been the same since. Now then, I think you said that you and Margaret were going to Filey, weren't you? Having some downtime at Filey, I think, in a few days. Well, there's your bucket, spade. So you can go on the sands at Filey, okay, and enjoy your time. And I think there's something else. Is there something else in there?
Yes, in there.
In there, right. So this is the second one. Have a look at it. Margaret, there you are. Nice big one for you to open. You're sharing it. Well, we hope you'll share this together.
Well, as we said, Richard, it depends. It's not from Amazon, this one. Amazon provide the cardboard.
Right now, what do you think it is? So there you have, I think, a substantial credit for a travel agent in Retford, and you will be able to go on a lovely holiday. Now, can I say... Well, it's up to you. That's up to you.
Absolutely.
Now, look, can I say this? That actually, there are other holiday destinations other than Yorkshire. Okay, all right. Now, I don't know whether Yorkshire Airlines fly to destinations outside of Yorkshire, so you may need to have a different airline. But,
well, you can fly with Jet2, are a Yorkshire company, and they fly from Yorkshire.
Jet2 out of Leeds. Okay.
There you go.
So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Yvonne, who's penned a little ditty, I think.
Okay, so John and Margaret, this was just something I put together for you. From Blackpool to Lyme, when it's holiday time, be it woods, be it sand or the sea, our one prayer is for you, in whatever you do, that you rest and enjoy and feel free. Lakes and mountains and walks, fishing, reading or talks, whatever your fancy will choose, somewhere nice in the sun, lots to see and have fun, or away on a long-distance cruise. From a hot tub alone, right away from the phone, to a villa with marvellous views. Just go on, book the date. Don't be leaving it late for some time that is special to you. Enjoy your holiday.
Thank you, Richard and Yvonne. Oh, you'll hold it for me, Jean. I can't do it one-handed. Thank you very much. So the catalogues you've got there are just samples. You can go and make your decision whenever you want, where you want to go, when you want to go. But we haven't quite finished, because we have a little final presentation, which is from Moira.
Hi, John and Margaret. I have to say, after having heard all the words that everybody's spoken, I don't really feel like I should be up here. I feel very humbled to do this. And I think that, it's... If anything, this is the impact that you've had on my life, on a personal level as well. When I moved to Retford 5 years ago, I was in a place where I really felt like God had me on a journey, and that he brought me here specifically to be able to really kind of move through that. And you two have been fundamental to it. There have been times when, to be honest, as the senior leaders, I didn't expect you to even know who I was as a member of this church. But where you have, really kind of answered prayers that I had. You have given me opportunities. One of the opportunities, as I see Stuart and Irene there, is to go on the ground level leadership engine. And you really encouraged me and invited me to that. And through that, you've invited me to opportunities to leadership and to be a part of that within this church. Having heard the background of, what was the job spec when you first came here, I'm very humbled as well to be the person that gets to stand here as a single female. And I think that's representative of your leadership, how you've been flexible, how you've adapted over the years to times changing, how you've encouraged and given opportunity. And that really does bring me to why I'm here, as opposed to anybody else. You gave me the opportunity to lead in the finance team, a team that you had the heart and the brainchild to say, look, this role that one person had done for so long needs a team. And I'm pretty sure there have been a lot of times over the last 18 months where you've questioned that decision as we've come with a lot of the doom and gloom stuff. And I'm very pleased that today I get to stand up here, not with the doom and gloom, but to actually present a gift that is very much representative of the overflow of love that you have shown, that you have given over your years of ministry. We're standing up here and we're looking back over the time you've been at the well, but I think in reality, it's closing a chapter. It's being able to hand over a very heavy mantle to somebody else to free you up so that your overflow continues into a new level of ministry. And this gift, which like all the others, what you open isn't actually what the gift is, so you do have to... Ironically, you do need to look inside. We've had a lot of conversations about what's inside, and this is very much going to be a look inside to see what it is. But this part of the presentation, or this gift, is a reflection of the overflow of love of the membership and how much they have given and wanted to really show the impact that you've had in their lives. This is what comes over and above all of that.
It looks like a pineapple to me.
It's not a pineapple.
I think I've got Desert Island in my mind.
I wouldn't eat it if I were you, though, John.
My niece kept saying it must be a box because everything else is a box. And it's a box of sorts. You're going to have to look inside. Just flip it over and look inside.
So
and then keep it safe, because I couldn't be in charge of the finance team if I didn't tell you to keep it safe.
Essentially, we asked you to give to John and Margaret before a certain date, and being church people, quite a few people only did that after the certain date. So the overflow is in the piggy bank. But you can't get into it, so there we go. So there's £1. Excellent. Thank you very much, Moira. Now, we're just running slightly over time, so we'll do our best. We've got one more song to go, and on the principle you shouldn't keep a Yorkshireman from his dinner, I'm going to let John have the last few words, because we know he won't go on a long time because he'll be wanting his dinner. He's managed to cope with the piggy bank in the end. That's all right. That's the overflow. Certainly isn't. My wife's got control of that. Right, so John, do you want to say a last few words?
Well, thank you for a great send-off. And as already repeatedly been said, we're not retiring. Ina Ridyard, who was the wife of Eric, the couple that we took over from, always said, it's not retiring, it's retiring for another journey. And just as for us, one chapter is closing, another chapter's opening, the same is true for you. And whatever we think about processes, at the end of the day, we believe in the sovereignty of the Lord, don't we? And I believe that the Lord's had his hand on this place for over 331 years, is it? I think 331 years. And he's not told me he's taken his hand off yet. So the best is still to come. And as we built on Eric's foundation, we have prayed that whoever takes over, they will build on that foundation as well, to continue the expansion and to continue the growth. Now, just to say, in as black and white terms as I can, so that there's no confusion, Margaret and I are not leaving Retford, and we're not leaving the church, but we are going to have a considerable amount of time off, months really, away from here, although we're not leaving here. It's just to give Pete and Hannah and you time to get to know each other without the complexity of us sitting in the back row and everybody thinking, well, what's John and Margaret thinking? So if you hear people add 1 and 1 and they get 3, tell them it's 2, okay? And that we're just giving... Eric and Ina did that for John and Margaret. that gave us space so that we could be who we were and you could be who you were. And we're going to give that time and that space to Pete and Hannah as well. So please don't misinterpret that, and don't let anybody else misinterpret that. And we're going to go on a journey of discovery over these next few months. We've already discovered View, and we like that. You know, the cinema, I mean. We love being able to go to the cinema in the afternoon and not feel guilty. You know, oh, I've got to get back in time for the trustees meeting or the vision team meeting or the ministry team meeting or whatever. And it will take us time to wind down, really, because, you know, we are tired. We are almost these last few, well, years, I suppose, you know, from the news of when I had cancer, that was a real setback for us. And I know it was a real setback for you too, because you didn't know whether we were going to survive that or not. Well, praise the Lord, we have. Praise the Lord, we have. And this exchange or this transition, I can prophesy, praise the Lord, you'll survive it. You will survive it. There'll be challenges. And please don't say to Pete and Hannah, well, this is how John and Margaret did it. Okay? Let them be what God has called them to be, so that you can be what God has called you to be. Now, one thing I have said to Pete, I took him to one side and I said, now look, no doubt when you're here, people will start telling you all the things that we've done wrong. Don't be offended by that. Just receive it and accept it, because we won't be offended by that, because we know we've done lots of things wrong. Okay? And don't feel guilty in any way, shape or form. Just be free to be who you are, where you are, in order that you can be better and go on to better and greater things. So that when we do come back into the congregation, we want to just sit back and say, wow, it was great listening to my son today. I remember when Simon spoke and Nathan spoke at Margaret's dad's funeral. And we just sat back and we went, wow. They have so grown and matured. They're men. They are real men. And as Simon spoke today, as Paul spoke today, it was like a spiritual son. We just sat back and went, wow, they've so grown. Fabulous. So when we come back in, whether it's 3 months or 6 months, we want to sit back and look at you and go, wow, haven't they grown? Haven't they matured? Haven't they developed? Wow. And who's all these new people? Because they'll be the people that you will bring in as fishers of men. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to the vision team, the trustees, vision team, trustees, past and present, ministry team, worship team. What a journey. What a journey we've had. We've had some fun as well along the way, haven't we? It's not all been all doom and gloom and good. We've had some great fun. I remember the first Christmas, not the first Christmas, the first Sunday school anniversary, giving out the books, the prizes. And Eric had never done that, the previous minister. So I said, Eric, you do it. You do it. And Simon alluded to the balcony. Well, Simon was in the balcony that day as a young kid. And Eric's there giving out the books. And Simon's voice just boomed out over the congregation. And this is the man who'd been minister of the church for 32 years, remember? And Simon boomed out, who's that man doing my dad's job? I don't know if you remember that, son, but there you go. Do you want to add anything? Oh, wow, I'll treasure this moment. So again, thanks to everybody. There have been times, just sit back, Adrian, relax, you can sack me. When the red mist sometimes does rise, you know, and I can say, as well as apologising for that, that whenever it has, it's only been out of passion. And it's only been out of what I believe to be right and to be true. I guess if I was numbered to identify myself with any of the disciples, it would be Peter, who suffered from foot and mouth disease. Every time he opened his mouth, he put his foot in it. But it's all from passion. It really is all from passion. So God bless you. You're going to have a great journey. There'll be ups and downs. There'll be roundabouts. There'll be dead ends. But at the end of the day, God will get you to where he wants to get you to. So thanks for all the gifts and flowers and everything. Here endeth the lesson.
We've got one more thing for you. That's to go in your tankard or your coffee mugs to settle when you come back from the cinema. So perhaps we could just stand and give them a round of applause for their years of service.
Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. We sing amen.
I'm just doing the notice, nothing spiritual, Dan. Okay, so lunch is going to be upstairs. If you're booked in for lunch, it's upstairs, but can you use this staircase over here, not the normal staircase? Thank you very much. Thank you for making this a very, very special occasion. And we hope to see you all again soon. Thank you very much.